Chapter 16. Now Korah, the son of Izhar, the son of Kohath, the son of Levi, with Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, and On, the son of Peleth, sons of Reuben, took men, and they rose up before Moses, with certain of the children of Israel, 250 princes of the congregation, called to the assembly, men of renown. And they assembled themselves together against Moses and against Aaron, and said to them, You take too much on you, seeing all the congregation are holy, every one of them, and the Lord is among them. Why then lift yourselves up above the assembly of the Lord? When Moses heard it, he fell on his face, and he spoke to Korah and to all his company, saying, In the morning the Lord will show who are his, and who is holy, and will cause him to come near to him. Even him whom he shall choose he will cause to come near to him. This do. Take censers, Korah, and all your company, and put fire in them, and put incense on them, before the Lord tomorrow. And it shall be that the man whom the Lord does choose, he shall be holy. You take too much on you, you sons of Levi. Moses said to Korah, Hear now, you sons of Levi. It seems but a small thing to you, that the God of Israel has separated you from the congregation of Israel, to bring you near to himself, to do the service of the tent of the Lord, and to stand before the congregation to minister to them, and that he has brought you near, and all your brothers the sons of Levi with you, and you seek the priesthood also? Therefore you and all your company are gathered together against the Lord and Aaron. What is he that you should murmur against him? Moses sent to call Dathan and Abiram the sons of Eliab, and they said, We won't come up. Is it a small thing that you have brought us up out of a land flowing with milk and honey, to kill us in the wilderness, and that you must also make yourself a prince over us? Moreover, you haven't brought us into a land flowing with milk and honey, nor given us inheritance of fields and vineyards. Will you put out the eyes of these men? We won't come up. Moses was very angry and said to the Lord, Don't respect their offering. I have not taken one donkey from them, neither have I hurt one of them. Moses said to Korah, You and all your company go before the Lord, you and they and Aaron tomorrow, and take every man his censer, and put incense on them, and bring them before the Lord, every man his censer, 250 censers, you also, and Aaron, each his censer. They took every man his censer, and put fire in them, and laid incense on them, and stood at the door of the tent of meeting with Moses and Aaron. Korah assembled all the congregation against them to the door of the tent of meeting, and the glory of the Lord appeared to all the congregation. The Lord spoke to Moses and to Aaron, saying, Separate yourselves from among this congregation, that I may consume them in a moment. They fell on their faces and said, O God, the God of the spirits of all flesh, shall one man sin, and will you be angry with all the congregation? The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the congregation and say, Get away from around the tent of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. Moses rose up and went to Dathan and Abiram, and the elders of Israel followed him. He spoke to the congregation, saying, Depart, I pray you, from the tents of these wicked men, and touch nothing of theirs, lest you be consumed in all their sins. So they got them up from the tent of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram on every side. And Dathan and Abiram came out, and stood at the door of their tents, and their wives, and their sons, and their little ones. Moses said, Hereby you shall know that the Lord has sent me to do all these works, for I have not done them of my own mind. If these men die the common death of all men, or if they be visited after the visitation of all men, then the Lord hasn't sent me. But if the Lord makes a new thing, and the ground opens its mouth, and swallows them up, with all that pertains to them, and they go down alive into Sheol, then you shall understand that these men have despised the Lord. It happened, as he made an end of speaking all these words, that the ground split apart that was under them, and that the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them up, and their households, and all the men who pertained to Korah, and all their goods. So they, and all that belonged to them, went down alive into Sheol, and the earth closed on them, and they perished from among the assembly. All Israel that were round about them fled at the cry of them, for they said, Lest the earth swallow us up. Fire came forth from the Lord, and devoured the 250 men who offered the incense. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to Eleazar the son of Aaron the priest, that he take up the censers out of the burning, and scatter the fire yonder, for they are holy, even the censers of these sinners against their own lives, and let them be made beaten plates for a covering of the altar, for they offered them before the Lord, therefore they are holy, and they shall be a sign to the children of Israel. Eleazar the priest took the brazen censers, which those who were burnt had offered, and they beat them out for a covering of the altar, to be a memorial to the children of Israel, to the end that no stranger, who isn't of the seed of Aaron, comes near to burn incense before the Lord, that he not be as Korah, and as his company, as the Lord spoke to him by Moses. But on the next day all the congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moses and against Aaron, saying, You have killed the people of the Lord. It happened, when the congregation was assembled against Moses and against Aaron, that they looked toward the tent of meeting, and behold, the cloud covered it, and the glory of the Lord appeared. Moses and Aaron came to the front of the tent of meeting. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Get away from among this congregation, that I may consume them in a moment. They fell on their faces. Moses said to Aaron, Take your censer, and put fire on it from off the altar, and lay incense on it, and carry it quickly to the congregation, and make atonement for them, for there is wrath gone out from the Lord, the plague has begun. Aaron took as Moses spoke, and ran into the midst of the assembly, and behold, the plague had begun among the people. And he put on the incense, and made atonement for the people. He stood between the dead and the living, and the plague was stopped. Now those who died by the plague were 14,700, besides those who died about the matter of Korah. Aaron returned to Moses to the door of the tent of meeting, and the plague was stopped.